2.
You've got a big beaming smile on your face. Have you tried pinching yourself yet, just to make sure that really happened?
I think when the first one went in, I pinched myself a little bit because you know, I scored so early on. But yeah, you know, I'm just delighted that I could contribute, and we won at the end of the day.
You're clutching the match ball, rightly so. What is it like to be a Premier League goal scorer, and more than that, to score a Premier League hat-trick?
Unbelievable. Yeah, before the game, I wouldn't thought that I'd score 3 goals, but you know, after the first one, got a bit of confidence and grew into the game, and I got chances. You know, I think at the end of the day, I should have got more in the end.
You could have scored a 4th and a 5th, couldn't you?
Yeah, I don't know if I was offside for the other one, but I think one-on-one with the keeper, I've got to be scoring that. And I think
Ollie, don't be too harsh on yourself today.
I know, but you know, you can always improve, and I think I backed myself to score that.
When did you start thinking? I mean, you scored really early in the game, but as a team, that there was so much in it for you today.
You know, we saw how high they play, and I just thought, well, the game plan was trying to get in behind them at the end of the day, and you could see it worked from there.
It definitely worked.
Yeah, it did. You know, we fancied ourselves today, but I'm not sure we thought the scoreline would be that like that.
That's an interesting thing you said, though. So how hard did you work in the week on getting through their high line?
It was more about, you know, just blocking off the passing lanes and just making sure they can't pass through us. You know, we knew it would be hard, but you know, we all worked together, and it showed tonight.
Ollie, a hat-trick against Liverpool, against Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool, against Gomez and Van Dijk. It's almost too perfect, isn't it?
Exactly, a perfect hat-trick as well, the boys are saying at half-time, so yeah, I'll take that.
Well done.
Thank you. Cheers.
Straight after the game, and it's difficult, but can you get your head round what you've just seen? Can you explain it at all?
Yeah, I can explain, I'm not sure, but I can tell you what I saw. So at least, so I saw a game in which, for different reasons, Aston Villa, who did really, really well tonight, used pretty much all the things, or forced all the things, all the mistakes we made. So we played in their cards, obviously, with the first goal, with the second as well, with the third massively. I think the third was the free kick then, and all these kind of things. So, and then of course the game has a specific direction. So let's go back to the first goal. That had obviously today an impact, but it shouldn't, to be honest. So we can now say, yes, Adrian made a mistake. It's obvious. Bam, pass the ball there. Easy go for them. But we conceded goals like this in the past. Maybe not exactly like that, but the reaction wasn't good. We lost then, obviously, kind of the plot. Our creating in the last third was really good. We didn't score, but it was good. But when we didn't come through there, and Aston Villa won the ball, each ball of these balls were a counter attack. So our protection was pretty under average, and so that you can never get a proper feeling back in this game. So, and you could see already first half, then body language dropped and these kind of things. But you are 4-1 down, and how the game was, it's not that we thought we should stop playing. We thought if we do the good stuff again, and even slightly better, because even there were, of course, things to improve apart from the finishing. But we had to protect it better. So we tried that and changed slightly the system, made it a bit clearer for the boys maybe, and so we had still good moments, but all our good moments leaded to nothing pretty much, apart from the 2 goals for Mo, obviously. Their good moments leaded always to a big chance or a goal, and that makes then the difference. So, and they were flying, and we were pretty open then. All the things you should not do in a football game we did tonight, but all the credit to Aston Villa, because they forced us to do that. So, like I said already to my colleagues, so Watkins was for us tonight in how we played undefendable pretty much. Yeah, he could keep all the balls. He didn't only score goals. He caused us problem everywhere. And Jack Grealish, of course, what a footballer, and he gets the ball in a 1-1 situation on the wing, can go inside, and it's at least a big chance tonight. We got goals. Yes, we conceded deflected goals, but deflected is sometimes really unlucky, and for sure I didn't see it back. Maybe one or two were unlucky, but it's as well a not properly blocked ball. So it means our fault as well. So nobody to blame apart from us.
So why did you lose the plot, as you say? Why did the body language drop? When we just do not associate that with this Liverpool team.
Yeah, absolutely unexpected, but it happened tonight. So I could see, I see it already like this, but I'm not sure. We have to prove that later. For me, from a specific moment on, it looked okay. We pretty much put all our rubbish things and mistakes in one game, and then it's done, and we can start again. So that's one. Last week, Mr. Keane said obviously that we defended sloppy. Tonight it was not sloppy; it was just bad. So I have to admit that, but I cannot change it now. I would love to have a training session tomorrow morning and on Tuesday and speak about the things and all that stuff and work on it. But the boys going out to the national team, and so I hope that they all come back healthy, and then we have to use the 2 days we have between the arrival and the derby to make sure that we do better, because I think Everton is in a really good moment and has a proper team. So yeah, we have to make sure that it looks different then.
Are we seeing anything strange in the league at the moment? You just looked today. Obviously, you conceded 7. Manchester United have conceded 6. Last week, Man City conceded 5 at home. Are they just strange football games, or is there something wider at work?
I don't know, but it's yeah, you're right. The results are strange. So that's today's strange. But you saw the game, and let me say, we should have scored more goals. So then it's maybe 7-5 or whatever. That it's then even a stranger result. So yeah, how I said, nobody to blame apart from us, and that's what we have to take. And I will take that. And now I have long enough time to find the right words for the boys when they're coming back.
Was any of that the vulnerability? How much of that was down to them finding a way, maybe something you haven't seen before, through your high line?
I saw everything. I'm sorry, I'm 53. I saw in football everything. That doesn't mean I have a solution for everything, but I saw pretty much everything, I would say. How I said, Aston Villa did really well, but it looked in the end that easy just because we did so bad. That's the reason. It was not surprising. It's not a surprise that one runner, that we can defend the gaps much better than we did tonight. So the first is running, but if you don't speak, you can't defend them. That's not possible, because it's then just we can defend the balls in behind much better. You do it usually by pressing the guy with the ball. But we didn't do that. That's the problem for that is we lost the balls really in the wrong moments. That's how it is. That's difficult. And then the protection was really bad, and that means that we just always when you cannot score. We had massive chances in the box. It was really good football actually, but then you cannot through it. The goalie makes a save or whatever, rolls the ball out, and then Klopp stands in between two players. So that's not to defend. So these kind of things we do usually better. Today we did everything wrong, pretty much what you can do wrong in a game like this, and that's why it looked like it looked.
Thank you very much, Jürgen.
You're welcome.
I'm not sure you had too many thumpings of that magnitude as a manager, but would you sometimes talk a bit longer to the press to avoid going in to actually speak to your players after a game?
You don't want to speak to the press because you're going to get more awkward questions. But I am. Listen, for Liverpool tonight, any big team can come unstuck at any place, given it's maybe the opposition's cut fast.
That was the point you stressed before the game tonight.
Any big team can start slowly, and if you're lucky, you get the early punch on the nose and you react to that. Well, Liverpool got it back to 2-1, having conceded 2 poor goals, and they didn't rise to the occasion. Now, a big thing is going to be made about them holding a high line. That ain't going to change. Liverpool will always hold a high line. All the big teams hold a high line. You can only hold a high line when the rest of the guys in the team are putting the ball under pressure. The minute they're not putting the ball under pressure, you have to start retreating back towards your own goal. Liverpool's problem started and ended with them not putting the ball under pressure enough tonight. The midfield started with Fabinho, Keita, Wijnaldum. They didn't do the job tonight. Then they replaced them. The ones who came on didn't do the job tonight. Liverpool have won the league. They won the Champions League by having the most efficient midfield that's been out there. When I say efficient, not the most glamorous, not the most talented, not the most creative, but worked harder than anybody else, along with the front three. And Manny and Salah and Firmino would all do their bit. But for me tonight, Liverpool didn't press anywhere like they would normally press, and the back were still holding a high line, and they got caught time and time again. And if you go through the goals, you can see, you know, Joe Gomez in particular.
That's what I'm saying, Dave. I mean, sometimes it's hard to be critical. I can't say I particularly like it. Listen, it's nothing to do with a high line. Basically, if you press from the front, every team now wants to play from the back and press from the front. Every young manager says it. Every top team does it. We press from the front, whether that's Bielsa, Guardiola, Bayern Munich, Liverpool now. You press from the front. If you press from the front, your team has to be on the halfway line. You can't have your team stretch. The most important thing in defending is being compact, whether you play deep or you play high. The top teams now play high, which is fine. Okay, there's nothing wrong with being up at the halfway line and really squeezing the play. But when that press is not there, or the opposition beat the press, and I'm talking when a team are maybe 15, 20 yards away from Liverpool's back four, not the front three pressing. I'm talking about when they're in those areas. I have no problem with the line Liverpool have, and people say it's a high line. Okay, well, it's a high line. My problem is when they're in that position, they stand and wait and try and play offside. I hate teams who play offside. I hated it when I was a defender myself. I think in that position, you've got to be ready. Okay, this is me high line. You're ready to kick, and as soon as you kick it, I'm running back. That's the problem for me with not so much the Liverpool defenders. This comes from the manager, no doubt, and the coaching staff. And listen, what can you say? They've been so successful. I just think within those positions, and someone's ready to kick the ball, you've got to be ready to run back. They're not ready to run back. They just hold the line and wait for the linesman to flag. More often than not, they get it. Okay, credit to them. But I just don't feel comfortable as a defender, or maybe even a Liverpool fan, watching it where I think someone's going to go and through on goal. And as I said, you'd accept it maybe once a game, but this was, I felt like it was going to happen every time the opposition attacked. And if that press isn't there, I just probably wanted Virgil van Dijk to say, listen, lads, let's just drop 10 or 15 yards. We can't make this more embarrassing than what it is. And 5-2 where Aston Villa is embarrassing. But 7-2, I mean, you just can't quite believe it.
Stage is yours. What was the master plan? How on earth did you do that?
Just sheer hard work and quality within the team. I mean, the work rate and the work ethic that the lads put into that game today. When Jurgen Klopp says wow to you at the end, you know you've done something right. And the players were tremendous tonight. Carried out the game plan to executed the game plan perfectly. But the sheer work rate from all the players, and it's against an exceptional team. You know, they are exceptional, and you've got to be at your best, and we was at our best today.
In your long association with Aston Villa, and I'm talking as a supporter as well, how many games, nights, occasions can you think of to match that?
Well, that's the biggest regret tonight, isn't it? There's no supporters here to witness it and enjoy it with us. I'm hoping they're all enjoying it in their homes. You know, but my first game here was beating Liverpool 5-0. I think it was 5-0 at half time as a fan. So to beat them 7-2 today is.
We were talking about that in commentary. 77 maybe.
77 it was, yeah. I think it was 5-0 at half time as well. You know, so. A tremendous achievement from all the players. They work very hard, and you know you work hard and you deserve what you get then.
Is that a slight regret that this place isn't full and jumping to the
rafters?
rafters?
A massive regret, because I can only guess how it would be, but dear me. There'll be certainly some smiling faces going to work tomorrow, that's for sure.
So how did you do it? What did you see? What did you work on in the build-up to this game?
Oh, well, if you get outworked by Liverpool, they beat you because they've got exceptional talents, and you know. Even when they score that second goal, 5-2, you're still not sure whether it's enough against them because of what they can do and what we've seen them do to teams. You know, but we worked on you know the opposite switch to some deep runs, and we made some great deep runs.
Is that your way through their high line?
Yeah, that was what we wanted to do. We just felt that they've got such a good team shift. You know, whenever we passed the ball, if we reversed it to the opposite side, you know, we felt that's where the space would be. But you know, football's fine margins as well, because you know they've had some chances in the first half as well where our goalkeepers made some good saves. You know, in football. The game could be different, but it wasn't today. You know, our goalkeepers made some really good saves, and we made some really good finishes, and had a couple of deflections along the way as well.
And any individuals you want to pick out? I mean, Ollie Watkins obviously springs to mind. Ross Barkley on his debut as well.
Well, I think there was eyebrows raised about Ollie Watkins when we brought him for the fee from the Championship. I think that's doubled now at least. So he's a
Selling
tremendous.
tomorrow.
No chance. He's a tremendous talent. But I felt that we'd learned a lot of lessons from last season. I feel we have. But we've added quality to what we believed was a good, strong team anyway.
So last season was a relegation scrap, went right to the death. What is this season now about, on the back of what you've done, not just today, but in the early weeks of the season?
Well, I mean, it's a good start. An exceptional result today, a really good start. The big thing is that we won't get complacent. We'll certainly enjoy it because times like results and performances like that don't come around too often against teams like Liverpool. So we'll certainly enjoy it, and we go into an international break now, international period with a big smile on our face and a lot of pride and confidence and momentum.
Thanks, Dean. Well
Cheers,
done.
Patrick. Thank you.
Very proud man this evening. And how excited should Aston Villa fans be?
They must be so proud, and also a lot of credit to the Aston Villa manager, to his player to execute the plan perfectly. You can see they have a plan before the game, and they did it. They know where they can hurt, Aston Villa. And to talk about the top three players, the top three front players, like the fan, Aston Villa fan should be so proud. They score like many goals, but also the work ethic, the way they were backing in their position, Barclays, Watkins, Grealish. And I love the way Grealish played today. He was playing wide, but always coming inside, asking the ball in those zones, and he damaged Liverpool so much today.
No doubt about that. And the only thing for me was it seemed evident very early on. Liverpool just did not start this game well. Even in the first few minutes, it looked like there was danger there for them. And it was just interesting listening to Ollie Watkins saying he'd spoken and worked on Liverpool's high line. And for me, even though Liverpool have got a good defensive record, I don't like it and I don't agree with it, the way they're trying to catch people offside. I don't like that as a defender. I've been in that position myself. This team play a lot higher up the pitch. And I've said before, this team play high up the pitch and almost sacrifice maybe one big chance a game and the opposition going through with the goal, but they look at the benefits of that of actually winning the ball because they play so high and press so high. But when someone beats your press around midfield and they're not far from your back four, you've got to get ready to go back. And I just couldn't believe, whether it was Virgil van Dijk at the back, to actually say, listen, boys, the game's gone, it's 5-2. Let's just all step back. Let's not make this get any worse, really. And it did get worse. And they were fortunate it wasn't 8-9, really. You think of the chances Barkley had in the first half. You think of, I think, Ollie Watkins hit the crossbar second half. So, I mean, listen, you can't be too critical. You look at what this team have done on Jurgen Klopp, and it's just one of those mad freak results that happens. But I think you go back to the first game, started conceding goals at the restart at the end of last season. We put that down to having already won the Championship. So I just think in the next few weeks, a couple of weeks off, we come back to the Merseyside derby, big game now, Everton top of the league. And I think we can really look at that and think, is this a freak or is this more of a trend really that's been happening in the probably last 10 or 15 games, maybe even going back to the Watford game. I want the Premier League to be a bit more like this season, and I'm not just talking about Liverpool last season, going back to City, the 2 years with Pep. When we're talking about getting 95 plus, almost 100 points to win a league, it's an amazing achievement for that team who does it, but in some ways it kills the Premier League. I mean, I'd like to go back where winning the league was maybe mid-80 points. We take 10 points off what the champions again. It just means that they lose more games, there's maybe more excitement. The teams who are finishing 3rd, 4th and 5th and 6th, they're not too far away from the top one, or as it was last season, or the top 2. I just think when teams are almost going through a season unbeaten, you think of Liverpool, so the last season they almost won the league really by the time they got to that Watford game. You think of Man City a couple of years before, I think only lost 1 or 2 games. I think if we get back to the days where the champions are losing maybe 4 to 5 games, I think it makes a more exciting Premier League. And I just do think this season could be unique. It's a unique set of circumstances in that there's almost been no pre-season. It's a condensed league because you've got to get all the fixtures in. And there's no time for coaching on the training pitch or for coaches maybe to iron out defensive frailties, as we're seeing with almost every team this season. And that's why it could be unique in that we may get something completely strange. We might get a Leicester situation. We might get that. We might get a strange top 4 teams popping, up in there, in and about there. And to be honest, I think that bodes well for the Premier League if that's the case this season.
Are you changing your mind on Jack Grealish?
No, he's a super talent. I saw him work harder tonight than I think I've ever seen him work. So, the challenge for him is to do that every single week. And there's no doubting Jack's talent. Exceptionally talented. Like you say, he got a couple of goals and he created goals. Special night for him.
But I agree with Graeme, because I wasn't a big fan, because I think he was like a little bit lazy. But tonight, the way he was like running back to his position, because like sometimes the fan, they just see like the finish, the goal. But as a defender, to see your striker running back, it's just a joy. It's just a joy to watch.
Well, that's a challenge for him. That's the level he can. Well, he can do it. Why not do it every week? He's sprinting back. It wasn't just running back.